Chapter 11 of At the Mountains of Madness by H.P Lovecraft. Read by Anthony Kalua. This is a Librovox recording. All Librovox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librovox.org. That is Librovox.org. Chapter 11. Still another time have I come to a place where it is very difficult to proceed. I ought to be hardened by this stage, but there are some experiences and intimidations which scar too deeply to permit of healing, and leave only such an added sensitive that memory re-inspires all the original horror. We saw, as I have said, certain obstructions on the polished floor ahead, and I may add that our nostrils were assailed almost simultaneously by a very curious intensification of the strange prevailing foetor, now quite plainly mixed with the nameless stench of those others which had gone before us. The light of the second torch left no doubt of what the obstructions were. My God. And we dared approach them only because we could see, even from a distance, that they were quite as past all harming power as had been the 6 familiar specimens unearthed from the monstrous star-mounded graves at Poor Lake's camp. I almost forgot about that. My God. They were indeed as lacking in completeness as most of those we had unearthed, though it grew plainly from the thick, dark green pool gathering around them that their incompleteness was of infinitely greater recency. Oh God, it's just getting scarier. Okay, where was I? There seemed to be only 4 of them, whereas Lake's bulletins would have suggested no less than 8 as forming the group which had preceded us. To find them in this state was wholly unexpected, and we wondered what sort of monstrous struggle had occurred down there in the dark. What occurred in the dark? Okay, where was I? Penguins, oh my. Penguins, attacked in a body, retaliate savagely with their beaks, and our ears now made certain the existence of a rookery far beyond. Oh my God. The undistilled horror. Had those others disturbed such a place and aroused murderous pursuit? The obstructions did not suggest it, for penguins' beaks against the tough tissues Lake had dissected could hardly account for the terrible damage our approaching glance was beginning to make out. It's like I'm actually there. It's like I can see the penguins, but they aren't there. They're incorporeal. Just imagining the penguins, their beaks. The horror is fully realized. Okay, where was I? I seem to have lost my place. The horror just overwhelmed me. Had there been a struggle among those others, and were the absent 4 responsible? If so, where were they? Were they close at hand and likely to form an immediate menace to us? I seem to have fallen asleep. It's been a long time since I slept. I definitely didn't faint. Okay, where was I? We glanced anxiously at some of the smooth-floored lateral passages as we continued our slow and frankly reluctant approach. My God, they're terrified. They're terrified. Whatever the conflict was, it had clearly been that which had frightened the penguins, those damn penguins, into their unaccustomed wandering. Unaccustomed wandering. That cannot be good. There's no way that is good. It must then have arisen near the faintly heard rookery in the incalculable gulf beyond, since there were no lights that any birds had nominally dwelt here. Perhaps we reflected that there had been a hideous running flight, with the weaker party seeking to get back to the cached sledges when their pursuers finished them. The undistilled horror continues. This is just unreadable. This is just... One could picture the daemonic fray between namelessly monstrous entities as it surged out of the black abyss with great clouds of frantic penguins squawking and scurrying ahead. Man, I wish I had my vape. Okay, where was I? I say that we approached those sprawling and incomplete obstructions slowly and reluctantly. Would to heaven we had never approached them at all, but had run back at top speed out of what blasphemous tunnel with the greasily smooth floors, the degenerate morals, aping and mocking the things they had superseded. Run back before we had seen what we did see, before our minds were burned with something which will never let us breathe easily again. I definitely fainted that time. I'm afraid I might have to stop this recording early, as I'm quite frightened, and frankly, I don't know what kind of sorcery H.P Lovecraft has meddled with to make these blasphemous books. He must have signed his soul off somewhere, and I just don't have time for it. So I'll be signing off, thus ending my volunteership with Librovox.org.